Hello, yogis and yoginis. Welcome to our practice session, our non-dual tantric meditation practice. I am Lisa Engles Witter. I'm your teacher for this evening, and I'm, as always, very delighted to be here with you. And we are in February, well into February, and I thought, hey, why not focus on the theme of love, of course, but specifically tonight we're going to focus on desire. And this was inspired actually by my mentorship group. I just had a session last night with my mentorship group, and I went over this, what I'm going to go over with you. So you'll actually get a little bit of a taste of what happens in my mentorship groups. But before we do that, and before we hop into everything, let me welcome anyone who's new here, has never been to one of my meditation sessions before. I do teach live in Berkeley, California at the Green Yogi on Telegraph. I also teach in Sebastopol, California. So if you happen to be in the Bay Area and want to check out some live meditations, be sure to get in touch with me and I can give you the info on that. And just a little bit about what to expect. If you're new to non-dual meditation, non-dual tantric meditation, I actually have a video that describes what that is. And the link, if you're watching on YouTube, is in the comments, in the description. So you can click on that link and find out a little bit more about what non-dual tantric meditation is, because I'm not going to be going into that here, but it's okay if you don't know. Just stick around, and it's really for anyone. You don't have to have any prior experience. But if you have 30 years of experience, you're welcome too. So these sessions are great for everyone across the board. There's also in the description below a playlist that I have called The Secrets of Non-Dual Tantric Meditation. I'm trying to add a new video to those. They're very short. Those are only like 3 to 5 minutes. And about every other week, I add a new video to that, giving a different component of non-dual tantric meditation. So check that out. And then really quick, this is for everybody. You don't have to be local. I am going to be teaching a class in the beginning of March, from March 7th through 10th. It's going to be a live broadcast, online live broadcast, short workshop called Mastering the Tantric Art of Embodied Intuition. And we'll be working with one of the main goddesses of the tantric, non-dual tantric tradition. So the link to that is also in the description below. So do check that out if that sounds like something that you might be interested in. It's in about a month from now. So you have a little bit of time to think about that, and if that's something that you would like to do. So finally, tonight's offering is free. These Thursday nights, obviously, we're on YouTube. Everything is free on YouTube. And that being said, donations are happily accepted. If you feel called to give a donation, there's a QR code here on the screen, and there's also a donation link in the description below as well. And your donations really just help me to maintain the cost of producing videos like this. And I put out lots of videos, not only live videos, but I am putting out usually 1 to 2 new videos per week. So it's quite a bit, and any little bit of contribution, even if it's 50 cents, helps a lot. So thank you so much for that ahead of time, but thank you even more for joining me today and being here with me today. If you're just rolling on in and I haven't met you, or even if I have, do say hi in the comments. Let me know where you might be joining from. I always like to know where people are coming in from, and feel free to leave comments, questions, that type of thing. While I won't answer them tonight, I do always come back and check the comments. I know a lot of people watch these in replay, so please feel free to comment and leave questions. And then finally, if you're watching on YouTube, you will see in the description what to expect for our session. But in the off chance that you're not watching on YouTube, really quick, what you can expect in our session tonight is I'll always open our session with the non-dual tantric invocation. You'll hear it first in Sanskrit, and then I'll say it again in English so that you know what the invocation is. So we'll begin. I always open our practice, open our circle, I say, with the non-dual invocation. And then we will set our sankalpa together. Our sankalpa is our intention. What is our intention for the fruits of our practice? And to do that, I will pick one card from the Karmic Warrior Oracle. So we'll do a little shuffle. I'll shuffle, I'll pick, and we'll see what the Oracle suggests for us. And if it resonates with you, you can use that as your intention, as your sankalpa for your practice. And then I'll go into a short teaching for the evening that will basically give you an overview of what our practice will be about. So the teaching is, of course, always related to the practice. And then we'll go into the practice tonight, which I'm really excited for this one. I think you guys are going to love it. And when I've done it live in my classes, I always get lots of really, really great feedback. So I always know that those are the keepers. Those are the meditations that are the keepers, and they're always fun to come back to over and over again. And then finally, we'll do a very short closing together as well. So with that being said, I am going to get us started with the non-dual invocation, and I'm going to do something that I haven't done yet using this particular streaming software. I am going to play a little bit of background music, and I think it's going to work because I tested it ahead of time. All right, let me find. Here we go. As background. And it's great if you are wearing headphones as well, especially when we go into our meditation, because I'll be playing music in our meditation as well. So for now, just go ahead and get settled, get comfortable wherever you are. Hopefully you're in a nice quiet space where you won't be interrupted, or at least the interruptions are outside of your visual space, right? Sometimes we can't help if there's a dog barking or kids running around. That's all life. And what's wonderful about the path of Tantra is it's about embodying life. It's not about trying to escape life. So we let all of that in. We be with it, but for our practice, we can still have a space, a nice sacred space that's clean, that feels comfortable, and a space where you won't be interrupted for the next 45 minutes to an hour. So with that, let's go ahead and close our eyes. Taking a moment to just settle in and take a few deep breaths, long, slow breaths. And allowing your awareness to drop into the space of your heart. Sensing into the stillness and the silence that underlies all activity, all sound. From this place, allowing all of your inner senses to just begin to open your inner sense of seeing and hearing and smelling and touching, but especially allowing your sixth sense, your deepest intuitive knowing, to open quite widely as you prepare to receive the non-dual invocation. And just listening with your heart, with that deepest inner knowing. You don't need to intellectually understand the words. Let them touch your heart. And as you hear the invocation in just a moment, you may wish to sense or feel or imagine that the words are literally streaming through the crown of your head like a golden nectarian light, flowing down your central channel, very center of your body, and spilling into your heart, saturating your heart. Atma Twam Girija Mati Sahachara Prana Sharirangarham Pujate Vishayo Pabogarachana Nidra Samadhi Stiti Sanchara Padayo Pradakshina Viti Stotrani Sarva Gira Yad Yat Karma Karomi Tat Tadakilam Shambho Tavara Dinam Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho. You are myself, my core, my essence. The goddess is my mind, and my pranas are your attendants. My body is your temple, and enjoying the objects of the senses is my worship of you. My sleep is your state of samadhi. Wherever I walk, I'm performing worship of you. All my words are hymns of praise to you, and all my actions are worship of you, O benevolent one. Om. Allowing your eyes to flutter open, coming back into our space together. So we'll go ahead now and set our intention with a pick from the Oracle. So this is my Oracle, the Karmic Warrior Oracle, and every card has a principle on it. So we'll see a principle of Tantric wisdom or yogic wisdom on it. So let's see what we get tonight. All right. So we got an awaken card. I know you can't really see this very well. There we go. Awaken. And awaken, there are 4 suits in the Oracle. So this is one of the 4. And when we pick the awaken card, it's sort of nudging us to awaken to our true nature, to recognize our true nature as a direct experience, as a felt experience, not as a concept. So the message or the word that we got is revealing, which is interesting because last week we got the word maintaining, and this week we got revealing. And if you came last week or you watched the replay of last week, you'll know that both maintaining and revealing are one of 5 acts of the divine. So the divine is always doing 5 things. There's 5 acts of the divine: creating, maintaining, destroying, concealing, or revealing. And so let me just read you what the card says. So there's 2 different interpretations of the word revealing, or the principle of revealing. And one is how you'll experience this principle, this act of the divine, when you're not abiding in your true nature. The other is how you will experience the divine when you're abiding in your true nature. So I'm going to read when you're not abiding in your true nature, how you'll experience this principle or this act. Taking all things, all people, all experiences at face value, an inability to see a shared divinity in all that exists. And then when you are abiding in your true nature, the ability to perceive divinity expressing itself in, as, and through all things. So I'll give you just a tiny little bit more. I mean, we could unpack this for an hour in and of itself. But in this tradition, and specifically in relation to these 5 acts, the divine is always either concealing or revealing itself in different ways. And I use this example all the time. In order for the divine to express itself as you, we'll say your name is Todd or Mary, then it has to conceal every other version of a person that it can. So it has to conceal Lisa in order for Todd or Mary, right, to be seen, to be revealed. In the same way, in order for light to be revealed, darkness has to be concealed, and vice versa. And you can say that about anything. So in this tradition, concealment and revelation, they're not inherently bad or good. There is no such thing as bad or good in a non-dual, on the non-dual path. It's just what the divine does. It's always concealing something in order for something else to be revealed. So allow this to be, if it feels resonant with you, your sankalpa for your practice. Perhaps your sankalpa can be that what the top definition is, which is the ability to perceive divinity expressing itself in, as, and through all things. What if your practice led you to that, how different would your life be? It'd be drastically different. I'll answer that for you. It would be drastically different. So that's what you can use for your Sankalpa tonight. And if you want to use it for the rest of the week, great. And if you have your own Sankalpa, if you have your own intention, that's great. One of the most fundamental things that we all have in common is desire, right? You think about it, we all have desires. And on the Tantric path, the great thing is that we can use desire to our advantage for our own spiritual awakening. The problem is that not all desires are created equal. Most of the time, most of us are stuck in what I would call egoic desires. So that's really what this tantric path is about helping us to overcome those egoic desires. And I have a lot of videos on that, longer videos on that. I'll make sure that the links are in the description below for you in case you're interested in learning a little bit more about that. I won't go in depth into that here. But here's what is important is that there's 4 types of desire on the tantric path or on the yogic path. And 3 of those types of desires will cause the repeating of karmic patterns in our life. So I'm going to describe what those 3 are, and then I'm going to describe the 4th, and then we're going to go into our practice for the evening. So the first type of desire is called kama, K-A-M-A, and it is the desire for pleasurable experiences. And if you think about it, all kids are really driven by pleasure, aren't they? They want things that feel good to their senses, whether it's some yummy tasting thing. I remember when I would take my daughter to the grocery store, and of course, she always wanted to get the fruit roll-ups and the sweet uh, cereals and all of that type of stuff. Or another thing I remember was when she was really little and putting her to bed, we had this little thing that we would do where I would draw on her back. Maybe you did that as a kid, or you've done that to your kids before, but guess what I'm drawing on your back? And she wouldn't, I should never have started that game because it went on for a couple years and I could never get her to go to sleep unless I was drawing on her back. So it's because it feels good, right? Kids are driven by pleasure, and as adults, we're not really any different. We like pleasurable things too. We love pleasurable experiences. We love to feel good. We love sensorial things. We want to get massages. We want to taste yummy food. We want to go to concerts. So the problem with pleasure and pleasurable experiences is that number one, they're impermanent, and number two, when you have too much of it, it just doesn't, it's not really that fulfilling. It just sort of gets boring. So at a certain point, we realize, okay, pleasure alone isn't going to fulfill me. So then this other desire comes online, and this other desire is called artha. And artha is the desire for success, whether that is success in your, it can be success in relationships, it can be success in business or your work or your health and well-being, can be success in really anything. But basically, money, relationships, health, power, fame, all of these are aspects of this type of desire called artha. All right. And we know that a lot of people have a lot of success and they're still not happy. And why is that? It's because success is fleeting. It comes and goes. Money comes and goes. Relationships come and go. So everything comes and goes. And at a certain point, we realize, okay, well, success isn't it. So there must be something more. And this is where people like you and I start to seek out videos like this one that you're watching right now, because we want to understand ourselves. We want more meaning. We want more purpose in the world. Dharma. So this is the desire for meaning and purpose. And we think that meaning and purpose will actually bring us happiness. And meaning and purpose are actually very good and noble things. And it does make life better. But if I think back to over the course of my years, and I'm now in my 50s, what I thought was my purpose when I went to college and got a degree in exercise physiology, because I thought that my purpose was to work with professional athletes. That was it. And I got my degree and I graduated college. And about a year later, I'm like, yeah, no, this isn't it. Like, there's something more. And I really got into the human potential movement and started learning everything that I could. That was like in the 90s. And this is when Tony Robbins was just coming online. And I was so into Tony Robbins. I'm like, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is my life. I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to help people in that way. And I'm going to mix my love for personal, for personal development with my love for athletic potential, right? And so I thought that was my purpose. I'm like, oh, that's it. That's it. And then that even evolved. I'm like, oh no, that's not quite it either. That's not my purpose. My purpose is, to help people on the spiritual path. So it evolves over time. So it's great to have meaning and purpose, but even that changes. It's not permanent and it's not going to bring lasting happiness. So in non-dual tantra, the 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 idea is, or the belief is, that it's totally fine to have all of these desires. It's fine to desire pleasure. In fact, you should desire pleasure and you should have pleasurable things. And you should desire success and you should have the money and the finances you need to sustain yourself. You should have that health. You should have a wonderful relationship. Yes. And yes, your dharma, of course, you should desire dharma and you should have dharma. But what we don't want to do is believe that those things in and of themselves are going to bring us true and lasting happiness. So we can have all those desires, but we don't want to get stuck believing that it's those things alone that are going to bring us the happiness that we really want. So on this path, we're not trying to transcend our desires. We're trying to have an embodied life. We're here to live an embodied life and enjoy desires. So this final desire is the desire for awakening, moksha. And it's the one desire that when you're far enough in your on the yogic path, it said you've tried everything else, you recognize there must be something more, and there's this inner urge to awaken to your true nature, to know who you really are, right? So here's the point of this teaching before we go into our meditation. Consider the possibility that all desires that you have, of those three, right? The desire for pleasure, the desire for success, the desire for meaning and purpose. Consider the possibility that all of those desires are meant to be felt, but not necessarily fulfilled. Consider the possibility that not every desire that you have is meant to be fulfilled. It's a radical idea that a desire arises because it's meant to be felt, but not necessarily fulfilled. So with this is where we're going to begin our meditation tonight, with this idea that yes, we can have these desires, but there's an inner alchemy that can happen with desire for us. So if we don't allow our desires to be fully felt, if we try to suppress them or we try to transcend them, like classical yoga might have us do, then that just creates undigested experiences and emotions in our body, which then get stuck and become samskaras. So they're stuck. They're undigested experiences, and we want to fully experience every desire that we have. It just doesn't need to be fulfilled. So we're going to play with this idea tonight, and just consider this idea that what defines an egoic desire and what defines a divine desires, I would say. Well, an egoic desire is any desire that's motivated to acquire something or get rid of something in order to feel happy and fulfilled. Whereas a divine desire is spontaneously arising within us, it's a spontaneously arising longing to express or explore or experience ourself and to express and explore and experience life with no attachment to the outcome. That's the difference. So that's where we're headed. Ultimately, what we would love to do is to desire pleasure just because that's a spontaneous arising, not because we think it's going to fulfill us. That we can desire success because it's a spontaneous arising within us, and that's what the divine wants to experience without any attachments. That we can experience the desire of meaning and purpose because that's what the divine wants in that moment to express and experience in us, through us, as us. But thinking that any of those desires are going to bring you lasting fulfillment is where the ego comes in, because that's just a story. All right. So, in this meditation, we're going to explore desire in a very multi-layered way that's going to allow you to dive into not just the cognitive aspects of desire, but more importantly, the somatic and the emotional dimensions of desire. So before we begin this meditation together, you are going to work with one of these desires. So I want you to consider which of these three desires is up for you in your life right now. So the desire for pleasure, pleasurable experience, the desire for success, the desire for meaning and purpose. Specifically, what you're going to do is you're going to work with something that you really desire. You don't have to, well, you're going to work with something that you really desire that you don't have right now. Okay, so don't worry, because next week we're going to work with desires of getting rid of things, aversion desires, we call them. Right now, we're going to work with attachment desires. What's something that you want so bad in your life? Or that, it doesn't have to be that it's like this deep, deep longing. It might be, or it could just be, wow, I really want this in my life. Feel for a moment into each of these desires. And one of them is going to be stronger for you than the other two. Pleasure, success, or meaning and purpose. Which is it for you? Pick one, narrow it down, and think of it specifically in terms of, pleasurable experiences. Is it that you're longing for the pleasure derived from food or music or physical touch, or aesthetic pleasures like being surrounded by beauty and the aesthetics of your home and your environment and wanting to make your home beautiful? Is that something that you really want? Or is it success? Is it financial security, professional success? Is it health and well-being? Or, of course, a loving relationship? Or maybe it's that meaning and purpose, personal growth, service to others. So I'm taking some time with this because I'm giving you time to figure out what that is for you before we hop into our meditation. So please get ready to begin our meditation. And again, you should be in a nice, quiet space, feels comfortable to you. All right, so just taking a moment now to get settled and close your eyes. Take a couple of long, slow breaths. And just becoming aware of the surface underneath you and all the different places where the surface is coming into contact with your body. Bringing your awareness to your breath and noticing where your breath goes as you breathe in and where it goes as you breathe out. Becoming aware of the ways in which your breath is almost like a bridge between your inner world and your outer world. With every breath, drawing a little more closely into your inner world and into that place where everything that you've ever known or sensed or felt or imagined or dreamed or experienced is recorded. Just knowing that you're coming into this place in order to explore a particular desire that you have. And just allowing this desire to arise within the very core of your being as a thought or an image or a memory or even a hope or a dream. Allowing it to gently come to the surface of your awareness. And without trying to do anything with it, you're just allowing this desire to arise to the surface of your awareness. And just notice that as this desire is here within you, what the associated feelings are. How do you feel when you're aware of this desire? And just really tuning into your emotions. Your desire is unique to you. And so that means that how you experience it is also unique. Now become more aware of the felt sense of this desire. In other words, you're moving into the realm of what you feel at a visceral level. It's the somatic impressions that are resonating in your body as an expression of this desire. It'll literally feel like a sensation in the body. And it could be a singular felt sense, for instance, a tingling, or it could be a combination of senses like tingling and warm. It'll be different for everyone. This is your personal journey. And just allowing it to unfold naturally as a profound exploration of your desire. And just noticing the specific felt sense it's igniting within you right now. Again, it's going to be unique to you. It could be warmth, it could be tingling, it could be a sense of expansion. But you're just releasing any labels or judgments that you might have about this sensation. Instead, you're simply experiencing as an arising. It's an arising sensation. And just noticing where it's residing in your body. Noticing if it has any dimensionality to it, a particular size or shape, or even a texture or color. And as you do, begin to breathe directly into it. You're breathing into this sensation. You're allowing your breath to take you directly into the sensation and feeling the sensation intensify. You're honoring its fullest expression as a somatic experience. Allowing there to be magic in the intensity, letting it be fully whatever it is. If any images or memories or thoughts arise, that's okay. Just allow them to be there, acknowledge them, but always directing your attention back towards the felt sense of this desire, the tangible experience in the body. Now allowing this sensation, the sensation of this desire to amplify until it completely consumes you, so that every part of your being is saturated with the sensation of this particular desire. You're no longer separate from this desire. You are the desire itself. You are the very vibrating source of this desire, the source from which this desire is created and within which it's experienced. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere else to go except to be the palpable, vibrant, felt sense of this desire in its magnificent fullness. And if any thoughts or images or storylines arise, that's totally fine. Just let them be there while simultaneously remaining as the felt sense. And eventually you may start noticing a subtle or perhaps significant change in the intensity of this felt sensation. Because once the desire has been fully felt, somatically in the body, fully expressed, fully lived as an aspect of your own being, it's going to start to wane. It's going to start to soften. And the urgency may even start diminishing. And that's because the desire has expressed itself in its fullest form. And when it does, it naturally begins to subside like a wave, returning to an infinite ocean. This is the natural cycle of desire. It's no different than a sound that arises within your awareness. It's maintained for a certain period of time, and then it begins to gently subside. This is the natural cycle of everything, including desire. So you're just allowing the felt sense of the desire to naturally wane. And as the desire continues to subside, you may experience it as a gentle echo, something like a whisper, gradually becoming softer and softer until it vanishes entirely into nothingness. And all that remains is not a lifeless pit of nothingness, but a tranquil, spacious emptiness. This is emptiness of desire, but this emptiness is actually full of stillness, silence, and ever-present awareness. By becoming the very essence of this desire as a felt sense, you're literally discovering the secret door to serene spaciousness, which is your essence nature. There's no grasping, there's no rejecting, there's no tension, there's no worrying. It's a realm free of all dualistic constraints. By fully becoming the felt sense of this desire, it's allowed to reach its peak, its crescendo, its fullest expression, and then to naturally subside. It's like completing a symphony where that last note has resonated, leaving behind profound silence. And in allowing the desire to be fully felt as an expression in you, as you, through you, you have fulfilled it. Not in the way we often think of fulfillment, but rather as an inner alchemy that transforms and liberates the energy of the desire itself. So consider what might happen if you brought this practice into your life on a regular basis. Imagine how allowing every desire, no matter how fleeting or intense, to be fully felt as an embodied experience and therefore transformed, liberated, fulfilled through this inner alchemy. How might this influence the energy that you bring into your interactions, not only with yourself, but with everyone you encounter in your life? And I invite you to just take a moment to sit with these final questions as you take your time to emerge from this meditation, carrying with you any newfound insights or awarenesses that you may have. So thank you again for joining me this evening for this meditation. Please come back next week at the same time, same location on my YouTube channel, and we'll be focusing on the second aspect of desire. So we're not through yet. This is just part one of a longer series in these meditations. Until next time, be safe, be well, take care.
Om. Bye for now.